Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Mythmaster Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video I'm taking my first look at the differences between MYFAROG 4.0 and the recently released MYFAROG Special Edition. So, just to give you some historical context with this game for me, I first came across this game system in 2015. I was on the Paizo forums for Pathfinder Online. At the time, I was very invested in the Pathfinder Online MMORPG. And across the forums came this post to, to actively kind of brigade and to boycott this game system. And I'm basically saying, just take my word for it. Don't go anywhere near this game system. And so it sparked my interest. I'm very contrarian when it comes to that kind of a thing, and I like to, see for myself. And when I first looked at the system, it was in 2.4. So it's a 2.4 edition of the game system. And, I watched another YouTube video that was more of a black metal focused YouTube channel that was attacking this game as well. And so, I looked it up on eBay at the time, not eBay, I'm sorry, on Amazon at the time, and the game system was like $9, everything included, so I was like, hey, $10 just to see what they're talking about. And I picked up a copy of it and I read it through. And the game system, because that's exclusively how I looked at it, the game system wasn't that terrible. I mean, in comparison to something like Fatal, it certainly wasn't. It was certainly much more concise and kind of laid out, and not connected to a real foundation that was D&D or OD&D, which I found surprising. It was more related to Rollmaster, which I was not very familiar with to begin with. So started reading through it, and yes, I could see some of the areas where where they were arguing and attacking it for its really, let's say, bad take on otherism kind of thing. Yeah, so you could definitely see that it was written from a very Eurocentric, and in particular a very Nordic Eurocentric view. Very opposed to outside influence and outside even contact, and so I could definitely see where in its earliest editions, you could see the problems with it. But as a game system, I saw less problems with it than what they were arguing. I think they were more tied into the non PC and again the otherism kind of approach that it took. And so looking through the system and actually running it a few times, I was like, yeah, the parts that you might find distasteful, you just don't use. That's where you come into play. So now we're quite a number of years now, almost 9 years since then, and a lot of that material had been removed and or cleaned up and made a little bit more made it a little bit more fantasy based, and so that's where really 4.0 comes in. And now we have the special edition. So I'm going to get into now all of that disclaimer out of the way. I look at this game system as a game system and not as any kind of a political speech. So, comparing the two, I am going to first of all, I'm going to go to this page here. So this is the Amazon page where I picked it up, and I'm just going to go over very quickly the new introduction rule. So it's $15 for the whole thing, right? Soft cover, $15. You get every aspect of the game in one book. So this has better organization, and I'm certainly going to show that to you in the PDF copies I made of the table of contents of both. Rules for spell fumbles, that's new. There are 5 new elf spells. There are 2 new dwarf spells, 1 new gnome spell, 2 new orc spells, 6 spells for sorcerers, including offensive spells. There's a cooking skill, rules for intimidation, rules for calming animals, rules for divine aid, which comes from the Creatures of Thule Deluxe, rules for strapped shields, 3 new armors, heavy helmets, hand-drawn images of weapons, shields, and armor, rules for cultural background, including tribes for all realms, tribes for demi-human races, all new special treasures from the lands of Thule Deluxe, all new creatures from the Creatures of Thule Deluxe, the stats of the deities from the Creatures of Thule Deluxe, a new encounter lists including all of the new creatures, more Thulean four names. I think that's like surnames. Black and white map of Thule, and the ultimate all-in-one MYFAROG book. All right, so now I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to actually just start doing some. Oh, I'm totally messed up there. Sorry about that. Let's go back to here, and now I'm going to switch those two things when I get back to there. So this is the new book, and you can see the differences between them. The cover art is the same. The lettering is a little bit different on here, and you have that big stamp, special edition. So you'll know the difference when you're purchasing it, because you could probably still get the 4.0. I recommend you shift right to this one. You can also see the difference in the thickness. All right, it is going to go from 216 pages, I believe, to like 250 something. When I go to the PDF I made of both, you'll see the differences there. So let me switch views again, and I know what I got to do here. I have to switch to documents. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Somehow my documents disappeared. All right, let's see. Sorry about that. Nope, it's still not doing it. Why? There it is. Sorry about that. So here we go. So this is the 4.0 table of contents, and I'm just going to show you that this was the layout of it, and you can see how things are really contained within it. When you see the comparison, you're going to see what I'm talking about. So, and total page number 216, and you can see compact on just 2 pages. Now we go to the table of contents for the special edition, and you can see I highlighted some of the differences that really stand out. So you have dedicated followers. That's not something that was very noted in 4.0, and so I don't know if it's actually included, and I didn't know if I mentioned that when I was going through that list, but it's certainly something that's standalone now that you can see much clearer. Going through now, we have the skills, and it might be very much the same skills except for the cooking was added, but you can see that now you have a quick reference to go right to the page number that you want if you want to look up a particular skill, rather than just going to skills and starting off on page 35 and then finding what you're looking for between 35 and 40. So here we're going from, for skills, we're going from page 31 to 46. So much more extensive. There's a lot more information going on there. You have the new intimidation rule that is here, and that's not something that the old previous rules had. You have the strange lands of Thule, which I think come from that other source book, and I'm going to show you that other source book while I'm going through this as well. As a matter of fact, I will grab that so that you can see this here. This was a mistake. Treasures of Thule was just put in a different section in the new book. But here you have a breakdown of all of the creatures now and their subsects. So you can see, if you want to look up specifically, poisonous creatures and giant insects, now you can find the page number of each of them and go through. And these have been further added on to from the Creatures of the Thule Deluxe as well. And then continuing on, so you can see there's 2 whole pages of just creatures and monsters and other beings thrown in here. So you have you have your list of human and half-elves and their variants of rangers, sorcerers, and warriors. Excuse me. Your demi-humans, broken down between dark elves, which are really dwarves, and gnomes, light elves and the 4 variants of them. Then you have others such as gnolls, halflings, harpies, lizardmen, minotaurs, the various different forms of orc, which include ogres and goblins and hobgoblins and even kobolds, lesser goblins, ogres, snow orcs, and wild orcs or bugbears. So, and then your various types of trolls, and they use a very, very, the author uses a very, very mythological and lore view of what trolls were. Same thing with Ettins as well. So now we get to this last page of the book, and you can see that it's going to end at page 251. So from 216 to 251, a lot of additional content here. And you have Divine Aid, which is new. You have Spell Fumbles, which is also new. Various new spells that are thrown in there. And I skipped over the part where there were additional armors and weapons and helmets included in this new updated and special edition. I'll switch here. And the special edition, of the system. So really excited about digging a little deeper into this now. So I will be doing some follow-up videos on this. Once again, the book did make notations of this here, and I did a box opening and a talk about this a couple of months ago. So the Creatures of Thule Deluxe Edition took the 3 smaller pamphlets and put them into one hardcover. I almost picked this up in hardcover. Actually, I was going to get them both. I was going to get the special edition in both softcover and hardcover, but sometimes my shelf space becomes a greater priority. Really glad to get this, and it certainly in softcover made it a lot easier to scan it, to get those scans for you to see, and that's something that I will do from time to time with the books, instead of trying to use a desktop camera projecting down, which I always have trouble with. With soft covers, I can always throw them on the computer and scan them and show them off that way to you, which I think works a lot better anyway. So really excited about taking a look and going through this, this game system and seeing what improvements there are in there, and look at some of the new systems that that the author has included. And once again, I mean, the one thing about this game system is that it's always been self-contained into one core rulebook, and it's a full system. So for 15 bucks, you can get a full system, and it's a really good system to play around with. I've found that the combat makes a lot of sense. It's a pretty simple system to pick up with, and it's very dynamic. It's somewhat lethal, but with your choices and selections and everything, you can truly create a character that is heroic. And when I say heroic, it really encourages the game system. And I will get into that when I talk about the introduction of the game system. And it talks about encouraging heroic gameplay, and that's something that I think is important. And you don't see it a lot in in other tabletop role playing games where it really does say that this is about your character acting honorably and heroically, and there are benefits to doing so. So I'm going to really spend some time with that as well to disperse some of the naysaying about this game system. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I know there's there's quite a few out there that are waiting to see this video, and I will obviously be posting it up on Twitter so they can find it there, or X, whatever you want to call that now, and in some of the other the Facebook page for MYFAROG and others as well, so they can come and take a look at it. And just be mindful that I will be doing future videos on this and breaking down the system a lot more, and so just be on the lookout for those coming up. So if you hadn't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to leave comments, about the video, whether positive or negative about the game system, you're welcome to do so. And be on the lookout. Hit that alert button so that you'll get alerts for future videos on MYFAROG or any other thing that I'm going to be putting out there over the next couple of days or so. I have quite a lot of additional content to put out, and I have a live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Where again I'll be talking about another Twitter controversy that keeps on arising every once in a while, and somehow I ended up stepping into this thing, and so I'm going to talk about that later on this evening at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and you're welcome to join in the live stream if you wanted to jump in and leave your comments in there as well. So enjoy the rest of your day. You all take care, and thanks for stopping in. Oh, I lost my page here. I recently shifted this, and I don't know why. I don't know why those things disappeared. Anyway, thanks for stopping in. Take care.